Baremne, this is Patil Tutunjan coming to you from in front of a green screen to talk to you about Lebanon and Syria. As you guys know, I recently went to Lebanon and Syria and I did series on both countries, so if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. And at this point, I think you guys know I was born and raised in Syria and I went to Lebanon so much when I was a kid. But even with that, before going there, I had some questions because a lot has changed since I've been there last, and also some things you kind of forget about, so you have questions. So I actually ended up taking notes as we were going through, and of the questions I had and the answers I found, and I thought I'll put it all in one video. And the reason why I thought doing Lebanon and Syria in one video, because it will be a quick and short one. Some of the things apply to both, and also the things that are different, I thought it would be useful to be in one video because a lot of people actually go to Syria using a car from Lebanon, and if they choose to stay there, I thought this would be one-stop shop for both those countries. So let's get into it. So let's start with some of the things that you might think about before even getting there, which is getting a place to stay. When it comes to Syria, Airbnb does not work. The site is blocked. It's not a thing. Airbnb does not work. However, for Lebanon, it does. So for Syria, don't worry. There are so many nice hotels that you can stay in. My favorite one is Hotel Park. The location of it I really like. I will include the link in the description. A lot of the employees there are also Armenian, so I end up speaking Armenian when I'm there. The rate last time I checked was the equivalent of $17 US per night. However, this could fluctuate based on the currency, so don't quote me on this. The way you will end up making the reservation is actually messaging them on Facebook, and they will get back to you, and there's no way for you to make a payment online before getting there, but you will actually end up paying cash once you get there. So make sure you have enough cash with you to convert and include that payment in your kind of calculations of how much cash you should take with you. So that's one of the options. Obviously there's so many other hotels, but this one I like I said, because of the location, the price, it's just a convenient one. But I will look for some other ones that I know people recommend, and I will add them in the description for you. When it comes to Lebanon, I actually found a place to stay on Armenia Street, surprise, and it was through Airbnb, just a proper Airbnb thing where I paid online before getting there, never met the owners, did a self-check-in, so everything was pretty smooth right there. So those are two things that, to keep in mind. So speaking of cash, I know a lot of people ask, and I actually asked people before going to Lebanon if I can pay with credit card, because this is something that changes sometimes. And the official answer I got was yes, you can pay with credit card everywhere, but to be honest, that's not the case. So make sure you also have enough cash with you to spend in Lebanon. Like when you go to small shops, restaurants, there's a very big chance that you will not end up paying with credit card. The only place I used my credit card in Lebanon was actually at Sara Winery, where I went with a tour, and I ended up paying with card. Other than that, honestly, everything I did with cash, which we'll get into in a second. Speaking of sites that are blocked, in Syria specifically, Netflix is blocked. Google Play Store and Apple Store you will need a VPN to access them, so those are also blocked. So make sure to download any apps that you need before getting there, and don't rely that you'll be able to watch Netflix. So those are things to keep in mind. And this actually brings me back a little bit to the hotel. Even though there is Wi-Fi in the hotel the whole time and there's electricity, but it's not a fast Wi-Fi where you can actually stream and watch things and watch, videos online. So the other thing you can do is actually download some things that if you need some entertainment while you're in the room. So just keep that in mind before getting there. In Lebanon, the Wi-Fi was I don't know why I can't say that word. In Lebanon, the Wi-Fi was much faster. However, again, it could lag a lot, and the buffering thing that we used to see back in the day, it could happen. So don't take your Wi-Fi's for granted, basically. So let's talk about currency exchange. When it comes to Syria, at the border, whether you're entering by car or by air, you have to exchange $100 USD at the border. So they will exchange that for you and give it to you. Other than that, you can exchange at other places while you're in the country. But with that being said, make sure you bring with you some sort of a bag that you will carry the cash with you, because you will end up carrying lots of cash because it's small notes and you will need that cash. So make sure to bring something that you can walk around with that will have your cash inside it. So like a fanny pack or tote bag or something that's secure that you can carry with you. When it comes to Lebanon, I never actually went through an exchange process, because in Lebanon you're allowed to spend with USD. So when you go to a store or a restaurant, they will actually give you the price probably in USD or Lebanese lira. You never know. It's like a nice surprise. But whichever one they give it to you in, you can actually pay with either. And then the change that they will bring you, it will be a mix of both things, both currencies. So it's just like you kind of go with the flow of, you'll end up having both of them with you, and then you'll start doing some math equations. But it's not that difficult. Everyone's very helpful and friendly, and they will help you with that. So I never had issues with currency exchanges in Lebanon. Now let's talk about getting a SIM card. So in Syria, you will have to go for one of the two SIM card providers. One is Syriatel, one is MTN. So when you go to one of these stores, bring your ID. You will end up doing like a little contract and buy a bundle. They're very, very affordable. The only thing to keep in mind is you can only use your phone in Syria without paying VAT on your phone is for 1 month. So after that, it gets blocked. So if you're going for longer than 1 month, keep that in mind. But a lot of times people go for 2 weeks or whatnot, so it shouldn't be a problem. So you can just buy the SIM, put it in your phone, and it will work for the 1 month. In Lebanon, I actually ended up just going to a store in Burj Hamoud. It was an Armenian store. I just walked in and I was like, can you give me the cheapest SIM card? And it was a very easy process. Same thing, just put in the SIM card, everything worked. So bring an ID with you, go to a store, and you'll be totally fine buying a SIM card. I did not find any eSIM options for either country, so if you do, let us know in the comments, and we'll definitely make a note of that for the future. But for now, I didn't find any eSIMs, so I ended up getting an actual physical SIM card, and it worked totally fine. Now let's talk languages. In both countries, the official language is Arabic. In Syria, you will find a lot of people who speak English. I don't know if you guys have seen Syria Scope Travel. I've done a couple of tours with them, and I made a video with them. They spoke fluent English, whether it was online during making the reservations or the actual guide. In Lebanon, you will find yourself in situations where everybody speaks English as well. They also speak French, so you might hear a lot of mixtures in one sentence. There's this like very known thing where people there say hi kifak sava, like they mix 3 languages in one sentence. But I find it very fun. So go with the flow, but you will be totally fine speaking English anywhere you go. I would even like call an Uber and just speak English with them, so that was totally fine. Now, speaking of Uber, Uber does not exist in Syria. It does exist in Lebanon. You will find yourself getting taxis everywhere because I don't know how common it is to rent cars. I'm sure in Lebanon there's the option. I've never tried it, nor have I in Syria, because I never drove in Syria. I left before I was the age of driving, so I'm not confident that I will be able to maneuver with the rules and everything, so I personally don't recommend it. I know a lot of people have gone to Lebanon and rented cars. If you're confident in your driving skills and all, go for it, but I personally don't have the experience with that. If anybody does have the experience, let us know in the comments so we can see how everything went, if it was a smooth process or not. But you will find yourself taking taxis. So in Syria, all the taxis are yellow, and they have a meter, so you can just stop any one of them on the street, and you'll end up paying cash. In Lebanon, the Uber app works. However, you cannot pay with a credit card. Like, even if you have a credit card attached in your application before going there, it will not accept it as a method of payment while you order Uber in Lebanon. So make sure you have cash with you, and if you have a large bill, when you sit straight up, like from the beginning, ask the driver if it's possible to stop at a gas station or somewhere to what's the word for it, to like get smaller notes. A lot of times actually the drivers helped me do that. Like I didn't even have to speak. I just gave them the $50 bill, and then they talked to the people at the gas station and gave me back the money. So totally up to you how you want to manage that, but there's that thing to keep in mind that you cannot pay with credit cards. So make sure you have cash. One question I actually got from the videos that I posted, specifically the one at Ksara Winery in Lebanon, is that if alcohol is legal. So actually alcohol is legal in both countries. In Syria, you will find that a lot of the Armenian restaurants or Christian restaurants, they have it available. A lot of times, like, you have to ask before you sit somewhere, do you guys have alcoholic drinks? So that's totally fine to ask. And also there's a lot of stores that sell alcohol in Syria. In Lebanon, it's pretty much, again, like everywhere that is a pub, there's so many pubs and restaurants and wineries. So yes, the short answer is yes, there's some nuances behind it, but it's totally legal and you can find it in stores, purchase it, or even at restaurants and get them. So that's totally fine. So now that you're there, and if you're looking to do tours, for Syria, I have this very strong recommendation of Syria Scope Travel, because my experience with them has been just flawless, like amazing. They gave me so much value for the tours. I learned things about my own country that I grew up in going on these tours, so I cannot recommend them enough. Definitely worth it. In Lebanon, unfortunately, I tried a few different tour agencies, I think 4 in total, and I wasn't happy with any of them. Compared to the price that I was paying for what I was getting, how things kept like getting canceled or changed, or everything was last minute. It just never felt organized for me. So if you guys know a good travel agency or a tour agency in Lebanon, let me know. I usually really like joining local tours and joining walking tours and learning more from locals about the country I'm in. Unfortunately, this was just not possible to do in Lebanon this time. I ended up, as you guys know, going into castles and just kind of improvising. So let me know if I'm missing something, or I tried all the platforms that I usually try, and even though I thought it would be easier because nothing was blocked in Lebanon and I could actually go into all these sites that I usually go on and find tours, I still found it difficult. Whereas with Syria, I knew of Syria Scope Travel from Instagram, and I just messaged them, and it all like transformed into this amazing journey. So let me know if I'm missing something or if I'm checking the wrong places, but it was interesting for me to see that. Now, if you are looking to do tours by yourself or make a plan of everywhere you're going to go and what cars and transportation, everything you're going to take, Google Maps works in both countries. Contrary to popular belief, in both countries you can absolutely use Google Maps. It's very accurate, just like you would in your country. So that's good news. So very easy to navigate around and find places. And both countries are very visual countries, so it's easy to like keep markers in your head, and like in one day you'll learn where your stay is and how to get there, and it will be very easy to navigate. So no worries on that part. Google Maps, thank you. Now, one thing I forgot to mention about the currency, for Lebanon, as I was saying, you can use both USD and Lebanese lira. However, one thing to keep in mind, if you are looking to go to touristic sites like Jolita Grotto or Byblos or Anjar or anywhere that requires an entrance fee to go in these places you have to pay in Lebanese lira. A lot of the websites have the information on the prices, but one thing I found out is that once you get there, there's 3 different prices, one for Lebanese citizens, one for citizens of an Arab country, and one for other. So just like when you go to airports and there's like EU passports and other, like just like that. So, and it's different prices. So make sure to ask someone or check online and have that much with you in Lebanese lira, because they will not accept USD at these places. So for these places, touristic entrances, you have to have Lebanese lira of that amount. They will give you back change, that's not a problem. It's just that you have to give them Lebanese lira. And last but not least, I want to leave on a fun note. One thing to keep in mind, for both these countries, electricity is sometimes there and sometimes not there. So when you're sitting at a cafe or restaurant, there's a very possibility that electricity will go out while you're sitting there, and then they will connect the generators. So in this like little quick seconds of them reconnecting the generators, there might be a few moments of darkness, and you will notice that nobody like even changes what they're doing. Like they continue to eat their tabbouleh and fattoush and continue the conversation as if like nothing is happening. So don't be alarmed if it just gets dark for 5 seconds and then the power will come back on. So don't worry about that. And I will leave you with a funny story, because when I was at the Airbnb in Lebanon, I actually got a message from the owner saying, is it possible for you to lessen the consumption of electricity? And I was like, I only have the TV on. I even unplugged the refrigerator. So these things could happen. It's not because it's a bad host or they're like trying to be stingy or anything like that. It's just that they're adapting to the situation there, and they're just asking for your cooperation. So don't be alarmed when these things happen. Be prepared for them to might happen. Even my favorite restaurant slash bar slash cafe that was very close to my Airbnb that I was staying in Lebanon, it's called Riwak. Riwak, I don't know. I will actually put their link in the description because it's so worth going there. It's so chill and like nice, and it has a different vibe in the morning than the night, and they also have really good food. Anyway, I sidetrack, but basically they had at the entrance, I think it was from 2 to 4 p.m. there's no electricity. Like it's part of like hours of operation, and then hours of operations for the electricity. From 2 to 4 there might not be electricity. So honestly, just embrace it and then immerse yourself and enjoy it and make the best of it. Everyone in both countries are so friendly. They would be very happy to see you visit their country. They will probably want to tell you everything that is happening and really have like conversations with you. So honestly, enjoy it. I hope you have a safe flight or trip. And also let me know in the comments if you have more questions that I haven't answered, and I will try to make maybe another video, or based on the questions that I get, I will try to answer them in the comments. So thank you so much for watching. Love you guys so much. Bacigner. I'm gonna go pack now because I'm headed to Barcelona. Boop, boop. Yeah, see you guys. Bye.